the question isn't necessarily, should I change jobs? The question is, if and when I do change my job, what is it that I'm trying to accomplish with that? Hey there, and welcome back to Career Therapy. My name is Martin McGovern, and I am your career therapist. Today, I got a great question in one of my coaching calls, and I wanted to share it with you and share some of the perspectives that we went through because I think it really helps contextualize where people are at in their careers, the different kinds of crises that come up as we try to evolve and move into different generations of our career throughout our life, and what we can do to navigate this in the best way possible. So the question that I got was, do I really want a new job? This person had booked me as a career coach to help them with their job search. But as often happens in coaching sessions, we tend to find that the issues that we're having at work are a bit deeper than they seem on the surface. While it might just be, oh, I feel like I don't have enough responsibilities in this role or something along those lines, go even deeper into something around our core identity, how we see ourselves, and the tensions that arise between how we see ourselves and how people at work see us, and how can we kind of cope with that, or maybe we do need to change jobs, or maybe we just need to change the dynamics at our jobs, or maybe we need to find something outside of work. So we dug into this question of, do I really want a new job? As we were digging into this, what sort of came up over and over again was this concept of identity, the work identity, the home identity, our personal identity. And there's a lot of talk about identity in the world right now, very much focused on our 20s going into our 30s. How do we form a sense of self? How do we figure out who we are? How do we navigate our career in a way that feels true and authentic, right? First, we have to figure out who we are, and then we have to be authentic to who we are. And a lot of times we want to find out who we are in our career, and we want that to be our identity. But that can create issues if our career doesn't line up with our internal sense of self. So what do we do when those things aren't aligned? How do we reconcile the tensions between our work identity and our personal identity? Or how do we just navigate the situation altogether? I think the first issue that we run across in this conversation is the whole concept of a single identity. A lot of times what we are striving for in life is a single identity that we can take into every different aspect of our life. Our relationships, our home, our work, our time with ourselves. We want to have a consistent identity. But identity is fluid. It changes. Internally, we have many different identities. Externally, we have many different identities. Our identities have a through line, but the way that we show up with a spouse is definitely going to be different than the way we show up with a coworker. And it should be different. We should be able to hold many identities together at one time and be able to fluidly move between environments, adjusting our identity to each environment while staying true to ourselves. And in order to stay true to ourselves, we need to understand what the breadth of our identities are rather than getting too hung up on a single identity. So how do we actually embrace all the different aspects of our identity? In this call, what we did was we broke it down by 4 different identity categories and then identified the conflict or the tension that exists between each. First, we took a look at the family identity. Who are you within your family? And that can be your spouse, your partner, your family unit that you're building, or even the family of origin that you grew up with. Then, who are you at work? What is that work identity? How do your coworkers see you? How do you see yourself at work? And where does that Venn diagram overlap and not overlap? Next, we took a look at your identity within your friend group. What role do you play within your friend group? Are you more of the fun, spontaneous one? Are you more of the planner? Are you more of the listener? Are you more of the life of the party? What exactly are you in that group? And so when we break down each of these things, we can see maybe with my family, I'm more of that cornerstone identity. I'm the anchor that everyone can rely upon. And in my friend group, I'm that planner who really is good at making things happen and bringing people together. And maybe at work, I'm not seen quite the same way as I am at home or with friends. Maybe I'm in less of a managerial role, and therefore it's in conflict with these other identities. I think I'm this kind of bedrock person, but at work, I'm seen more in an executioner role rather than that strategic core. And these tensions between how we see ourselves and how others see us can lead to these big career crises. Whether it's a quarter life crisis, a midlife crisis, or just a regular crisis, we start to wonder, am I doing things right? Do I need to change something? And our minds will immediately go to, I need to change jobs, obviously, because that's the easy answer. But what happens if you change jobs and just bring this same energy with you to the next one? What if you change jobs and end up in a worse environment? The question isn't necessarily, should I change jobs? The question is, if and when I do change my job, what is it that I'm trying to accomplish with that? The average amount of time we spend in a job is about 4 years. So we shouldn't get too hung up on, oh my gosh, do I have to change jobs this year in order to fix this whole identity crisis? What we should be thinking about is, how do I build the skill set of bringing my authentic self to work in this current environment so that whether I stay or go, I can still be myself? And then, how much of myself do I actually need to bring to work? I like the idea of diversifying. I like the idea of diversifying your life so that you don't have to get everything from one source. You get some of your fulfillment from your partner, some of your fulfillment from your friends, some of it from your work, and some of it from your personal hobbies. And spreading it out across your multiple identities will help you feel less dependent on any one of them to make you feel good. So take a moment here and let us know in the comments what you think about this. What are your different identities, your work identity, family identity, self identity, and how do those overlap or conflict with each other? Where is that tension? And how are you navigating these conflicts as they arise throughout your life and your career? When you see a conflict in your identities, does it cause you to want to make a big change and start fresh and all over again? Or are you able to navigate it in more strategic ways? Let's say right now at work, you're only bringing about 40% of your quote unquote true identity to the office. The question is that okay? Do you need to bring 100% of yourself to the office? And if so, how far can you stretch that in this current office environment? Can you get to 50%, 60%, 70% before quitting? Maybe that skill of being able to bring more of yourself to work is the thing that you need to do, especially if you've got a stable job that's not bad. You're just feeling a little bit of an identity crisis going on right now. It is totally normal to feel like you want to change jobs. And it's also totally normal to feel like maybe I'm being too hasty with this whole changing job thing. The key here is to listen to those impulses and then reflect on them. So what I would recommend for each of you, if you're experiencing any sort of identity crisis or career crisis right now, is rather than trying to make a really huge, big, grand gesture change, throw out the baby with the bathwater kind of a thing, instead, slow down, observe your emotions, try to figure out why you're feeling this way. What is the deeper emotion? Maybe at work, everyone sees you for this one thing. Well, what's the deeper thing that makes you feel upset about that? Each day, when you have an emotional reaction, either positive or frustrated, write that down. Say, I had this interaction at work and I felt frustrated. I had this interaction at work and I felt good. And then analyze what you felt good about and what you felt frustrated by, because that's how we can start improving our situation. At the end of the day, there are 3 things you can do whenever you hit any sort of crisis. You can change yourself, you can change your environment, and you can accept the rest. Start with yourself. Figure out what's going on internally and why you're responding to things the way that you are. Then take that information and try and reshape your environment in order to be the best possible environment it can within the constraints. And then once you've pushed yourself and pushed your environment, maybe even change jobs in the environment in order to get more freedom or more responsibility or whatever it might be, then you sit down and you look at your situation and you say, I've done everything I can for this moment in my life. Now it's time to accept the rest until that next crisis comes up and we get to do this all over again. And that's the beauty of our lives. It's a constant change. It's a constant evolution. We don't have a fixed identity. We don't even have a fixed career. We just have an evolutionary process that keeps going from decade to decade. So I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any other career questions that you'd like me to discuss in future videos, please let me know in the comments. Of course, I appreciate it if you like and subscribe and share this with anyone you know who's going through any sort of identity or career crisis right now. And if you need to talk to someone about your journey and about what you're trying to build within your career, go over to careertherapy.com, set up a time to chat with me, and we can see if coaching is a helpful solution for you. The Unstuck Coaching Program involves one-on-one coaching, group coaching, an online curriculum, and we can really dig deep into your situation to figure out the strategic and the tactical approaches that will help you navigate both the emotional and promotional sides of your job search. Thank you again for stopping by, and until the next video, good luck building a career that works for you.